Yeah, I think let's do Alec and me casting this one just for the sake of giving Satonia a little bit of a break since he's been doing a fantastic job but has also had to talk for the last hour and a half. So now that we are swapped over, we have Center for Advanced Studies bringing a very, very different setup than anyone has brought so far with the Balgorn, Triple Harbinger, Pilgrim, Augurer, Pontifex, Confessor, Crusader, and a Crucifier, which is kind of cool because they chose to bring a Pilgrim to get around the Curse Band. So there's a lot of tracking disruptors. However, is that going to be effective against the Forsaken Empire setup, Alec?
It will not. Forsaken Empire is rolling a drone comp with double Eos, triple Ishtar, a Pontifex for links, two Deacons for reps. They've got a Nurgle for probably some anti screening DPS, and a Hyena to make sure those Eos and Ishtar drones apply for full damage. Now, I do predict that Hyena will not be long for this world, but generally speaking, I think Castabouts has an uphill battle here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Classic Harbingers, not the Navy variety, are very, very squishy, and we are seeing a massive drone ball of Navy Praetors and the light coming out and flying straight towards them. So they are opting to use a heavy drone setup, which means they have pretty extremely high DPS. We'll see. I believe the Pilgrim is going to be their first target just based on the target painting, which is a very smart idea. Pilgrims are quite strong, though we are seeing damage being split across two different ships at the same time here.
Yep, and the Castabouts team is kiting back. It bought them a couple extra seconds as those drones had to chase in, but they have arrived on target now, and that Pilgrim is really feeling the pain. Now, the one benefit that the Pilgrim has over the Curse, it's going to have a stronger tank, a little bit more low slots to play with there. But that is a lot. That's a really big drone ball. Now they've moved that off to another target now. Meanwhile, the Ishtar of Mariamon taking the bulk of the damage from castabouts. It seems like they've stopped targeting that hyena. Probably realized it was a bit too small to get without any kind of tackling. Oh, that
Yeah,
Harbinger
it's
is dropping.
Harbinger's going down very quickly here. I'm not sure if a Augurer is able to keep it up. Augurs actually rep a lot more than people think they do, but we're seeing I guess, almost a surprisingly small amount of damage coming out from both sides right here. I think that Castabouts is trying to get those Harbingers into a good position, but I think switching off the Hyena was maybe actually a really good idea. Since I'm guessing it's an armor hyena, which means it has insane laser resistance versus an all laser team here.
One of the Harbingers on castabouts is woefully out of position, and Forsaken Empire has realized it. They've moved the drone cloud on top of Ivory Imp Nova, who's quite separated from the rest of his team. He's already chunked down to half armor. He is getting some reps from the Augur. Those reps will not be as effective far away as he is. There is fall off on reps, so they are beginning to punch through his tank, slowly but surely grinding him down.
Yeah, and even if they don't take him down, this is going to force the Augur to move in a little bit closer. You know what I'm kind of looking for? I haven't seen this Balgorn be particularly effective yet. I think Forsaken Empire is doing an incredible job of kiting off and really using that drone power. That being said, Center for Advanced Studies is actually targeting drones down right now. That's why you're not seeing a lot of damage going out. And the Crusader just gets randomly popped. I think the drones just all swapped to it and just alphaed it. So good job on that Hyena's point of view. That makes it much harder for Center for Advanced Studies to tackle anybody down.
Yeah, great play to take that out. I think for the castabout's benefit, though, the loss of a Crusader in this situation, not that bad. However, their Augur is now taking huge damage, and that will be a very significant loss. He's already been ripped to about a third of his armor. The Augur does not have a great self tank. It is all projected reps, and it is feeling the pain right now as he is about to go down, and there he goes. That is a
And
devastating loss.
well, I don't think there was anything they could really do about that. Like when that Augur had to push in, that was it. And Forsaken Empire being very, very intelligent and swapping immediately. And it does look like they're going to start working on those Harbingers now. And I don't know, like Castabouts has to do something. Like they need to start getting some damage on something here. And I'm not really sure what their plan is, but Green is actually taking massive damage in his Harbinger and is already down in half armor.
Yeah, they do have the Nurgle neuted. I presume those newts are from the Balgorn. It is taking some pretty heavy damage, but as long as the Deacons are up, the Nurgle has a fantastic resist profile. They should be able to keep him up against the EM thermal damage coming from these Harbingers. And now they're about to deal with less Harbingers. One drops. There's a big chunk of the damage from castabouts. And, history is going to repeat itself. With the Augur down, there is not much they can do to keep these Harbingers alive. They are not particularly tanky ships by themselves. They don't have great local tanks. It does appear that they're mostly buffer, if not entirely buffer here. They're just
Yeah.
gonna drop, and once those harbs go down, neither the Balgorn nor the Pilgrim are really much of a threat to them. So this match will probably be over, as once this harb goes down, I don't think they have the DPS to cut through anything else.
Yeah, and the Pontifex did actually just boundary violation. Narg does go down in the Harbinger, and the Balgorn actually just did an MJD, but it was a really, really bad one and went in the exact wrong direction. I wouldn't say he was completely in the wrong direction here, but it was really not a good MJD. I think he was trying to MJD on top of the Deacons, but he hit it about maybe 5 or 6 seconds too slow here. So a good attempt with the Balgorn to try and jump into them and get on top of them. It does not do anything, and Ivory's Harbinger now is taking a lot of damage, and they're just taking the Crucifier. So this drone comp is just ripping Center for Advanced Studies apart.
Sometimes you have to make the best play that you can. That may have been the best option the Harbinger had at the time, but really unrealistic for one Harbinger and a very screened Balgorn to be able to take on ships supported by double Deacons, which are not tackled down.
No, and I feel that maybe Center for Advanced Studies, I think they might have kind of outmeted themselves here because their setup actually looks like it'd be really good against, maybe any other turret-based setup. Like if the Forsaken Empire's Abaddon setup versus theirs might have had some serious trouble, as Abaddons are notoriously weak to energy neutralizers, and they brought the Pilgrim and the Crucifier for tons and tons of tracking disruptor. But Forsaken Empire, maybe they thought about that. They're like, hey, we showed this Abaddon setup, and what if we bring something completely different in case someone tries to counter us? So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that might have been some out meta play here on both sides. That I'm going to bring a counter to what you brought. I'm going to counter your counter. I'm going to counter your counter's counter. You're
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
feed.
it's not necessarily just tracking disruptors, and they can also could have gone with guidance disruptors there. It does seem like they were heavily optimized for turrets, based on the icons that I'm seeing here in the client. But at the same time, turret-based shield ships, which seems to be what their damage was centered around with those harbingers, not super common. And the ones that are common in the tournament tend to be the Tech 2 Mimitar stuff, which has very strong EM resists. So I don't know. I think they just may have, yeah, you're right, outmeta themselves, or at least had some mixed signals on what they were really going for with this comp. And Forsaken Empire just deftly countered it with the drone setup. Doesn't matter what kind of tracking disruptors or guidance disruptors you've got, the drones do not care. They're going to be on you no matter what. I would doubt that the Ishtars and Eoses are even fielding any guns whatsoever. They're most likely have neutralizers in the highs to just maximize the cap pressure, and that further put pressure on those Harbingers. And that's it. Congratulations, Forsaken Empire.